You've heard of LSD. You've heard of mushrooms. But what if I told you there's a darker, more disturbing class of drugs? A class that doesn't just show you wild colors or magical fractals, but instead replaces your entire reality with something horrifying. These are deliriants, substances that break your connection to the real world and don't always give it back. Today I'm taking you through 5 of the most mind-bending deliriants known to man, starting with the least terrifying and ending with the absolute worst. I'll share true stories, explain what they do to your brain, and most importantly, why you should never ever touch them. Let's start with the one that sounds the most innocent. Nutmeg. Yeah, nutmeg. The stuff in your kitchen cabinet. It smells like Christmas, it goes great in cookies, and in small amounts it's harmless. But if you take just a few tablespoons, nutmeg becomes something else entirely. The high from nutmeg does not come quickly. It can take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours to kick in, but once it does, you're in for one of the most miserable and confusing experiences of your life. People report feeling poisoned. There's no euphoria, you get dizzy, hot, and mentally slow. Your body feels heavy, your mind enters a thick fog. You lose track of time, sometimes for 2 or even 3 days straight. One guy took 3 tablespoons of nutmeg with orange juice. Nothing happened for the first 6 hours, but then suddenly he felt like his blood was boiling. His heart was pounding, his face was flushed, and he couldn't cool down. That's when the whispers started. He thought people were in his room just outside of view. But he was alone. He tried to sleep, but he couldn't. His thoughts were looping like a broken record. Then came the hallucinations, flickering lights, shadows crawling. At one point he thought his reflection in the mirror was laughing at him. He didn't sleep for 48 hours. He was dehydrated, confused, and he'd feel like he'd never feel normal again. After coming down, he said it was like being trapped in a mental prison. Not terrifying in a horror movie way, but soul-crushing, like you're stuck in your own poisoned body with no escape. Nutmeg is legal, cheap, and it's sitting on store shelves right now as we speak. But it is not safe. People have ended up hospitalized from it. Your body treats it like a toxin. Some users report liver damage, long-lasting anxiety, and a deep disconnection from reality that can linger for days or even weeks. It's less of a high and more of a slow-motion breakdown. It's a reminder that even the most familiar things can turn against you when abused. Now let's move to something faster and far more intense. Salvia. It's legal in many places. You can buy it online. It only lasts around 5 to 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes can feel like an entire lifetime. Salvia doesn't gently lift you out of your body, it literally rips you out. It doesn't show you things, it transforms you. People have reported becoming their furniture, not hallucinating on a fucking couch. I'm talking about becoming the fucking couch. One man swore he was a blade of grass for what felt for hours. Others have felt like they were being dragged through dimensions by ropes or pulling down by invisible hands. One guy hid a salvia extract cart in his backyard. Within seconds, he thought reality had folded in on him. He saw spinning gears, mechanical patterns, and felt like his identity had shattered. Then he looked at the fence. He realized he was the fence. He felt wood grain in his skin, bugs crawling on him, wind blowing through his branches. He panicked, tried to scream, but he couldn't. He was a damn fence. When the trip ended, he was lying in the grass sobbing with dirt under his nails. He said those 10 minutes felt like 1,000 years of silence and isolation. Salvia isn't dangerous physically, it won't kill your body, but it might break your mind. There's no trip in the fun sense, no music appreciation, no colors. It's pure confusion, dissociation, and psychological chaos. Many people come out of it shaken, paranoid, and afraid to ever touch drugs again. Some say it changed the way they see reality, permanently. One guy said, after salvia I stopped believing this world is real. Nothing has felt the same since. And now, we get to the one that's gone viral. The one people joke about, meme about, and underestimate. Benadryl, or Bennies, is a common over-the-counter allergy pill. But if you take too much, your mind slips into a psychotic horror movie. At high doses, Benadryl creates full, realistic hallucinations. We're not talking about breathing walls or tracers. We're talking about seeing people who aren't there, having full conversations with them, and not realizing anything is off until they suddenly vanish into thin air. You lose track of time, you forget what you're doing, and you're all terrified at the same time. One guy took 700 milligrams. That's about 28 pills. He laid down in bed. He started seeing a man in a trench coat standing in the corner of his room. The man didn't say anything, he just stared. He tried to ignore it, but the man started pacing and mumbling. Then spiders, hundreds of them, came crawling across the ceiling, falling onto the bed. The user leapt out of bed and tried to brush them off, but there were none. Hours passed. He didn't remember any of it. His parents found him outside barefoot, muttering something about a missing phone charger. And that's one of the most common Benadryl hallucinations, phantom objects. People report smoking cigarettes that vanish halfway through, holding things that don't exist, talking to friends who aren't there. And the terrifying part is, you don't know they're fake until they disappear or someone finds you. Benadryl trips can last 8 to 24 hours. The after effects include confusion, depression, memory gaps, and paranoia. Long-term use is linked to brain shrinkage. That's not a joke. Actual physical damage. People say the trip makes them question death, life, and what it means to be real. It's not enlightening. It's horrifying. And for many, it's the worst experience of their lives. But Benadryl is nothing compared to what comes next. Angel's trumpet, a flower that grows in gardens. A beautiful, poisonous flower with long trumpet-shaped blooms. One tea made from this plant can pull you into hell. It contains the same tropane alkaloids as the Torah, and at the right dose, it produces a living nightmare. Total break from reality. No awareness that you've taken a drug. No coming up or peaking. Just instant deep psychosis. One woman brewed a tea from a single flower. Within an hour, she was screaming. She thought her house was on fire. She thought her kids were trapped in the flames. She didn't even have children. She ran barefoot through glass, blood dripping from her feet, yelling for help. Neighbors found her in her neighbor's yard, trying to pull her son out of a tree. She spent 4 days in the hospital. She remembered none of it, just a vague sense of fear. One doctor said she was lucky she didn't go into cardiac arrest or fall into traffic. The thing is, Angel's trumpet is easy to find. It grows wild in many states. People have no idea how dangerous it is. It's a plant that doesn't get you high, it gets you lost. Many users report hallucinations of demons, melting walls, voices whispering, or guides leading them into madness. Afterward, they often suffer emotional damage, panic attacks, paranoia, and a deep, constant fear of losing their grip on reality again. But that doesn't even touch the Torah. The Torah is the end game, the final boss of deliriants. Some call it moonflower, others call it devil's weed, some call it Jimson weed, some call it nightshade. It grows along roadsides, in abandoned lots, maybe even in your backyard, and it will tear your mind apart from the inside out. There are no trippy visuals. There is no coming down easy. The Torah makes you forget you ever took a drug. You think what you're seeing is real because it feels real. You'll talk to dead people, smoke phantom cigarettes, fight imaginary enemies, and you will not remember any of it. One guy decided to take 500 seeds. He thought he was at school, he talked to his friends, went to class, ate lunch. He believed it was real until he tried to leave and realized he was in an abandoned lot, shirtless, sunburned, bleeding, dehydrated, and confused. He had been gone for 2 days. He had no memory of how he got there. He kept asking for his dog that died years ago. People on Detoria have been found naked, violent, and even dead. They walk into traffic, they jump out of windows, they drink bleach thinking it's water. The hallucinations are not fun. They're terrifying, demonic, and aggressive. You may see creatures. You may believe you're being hunted. Some feel like they've been trapped in a haunted version of the real world. Others see nothing at all, just an endless confusion and voices that never stop. When they come back, they're never the same. Some experience permanent psychosis, visual distortions, lifelong paranoia. A few say they don't really know if they ever really came back. They feel a piece of themselves is lost in that other world. Datora is not a drug. It's a curse, and no one who's truly ever experienced it recommends trying it. Deliriants are not like LSD. They aren't like mushrooms. They don't expand your mind. They break it. These substances will hijack your brain and rewrite your reality. They aren't portals to another dimension. They aren't things you do at a party. They're invitations to madness. So if you're curious, if you think you might want to try it, you need to think again. Read the trip reports, talk to the survivors, visit hospitals, watch the faces of people who came back broken. Just remember, just because something's legal does not mean it's safe. If you've made it this far, hit like, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and tell me in the comments what's the scariest story you've ever heard. And if you ever tried these drugs, what was your experience on it? And to everyone watching, stay safe, stay grounded, and never ever underestimate what your mind can do to itself.